fraction. That is 1 mBVB divided by 2VA. See how important it was initially that we kept our 2 with the acid equation right here? It has to come along down here. So those are our moles of acid, if you'll recall. Moles of acid, moles of base. I'm sorry, this is our moles of acid, initially moles of base, but then we cross-multiplied. So now we have isolated moles of acid, and we can solve for that. And what I mean by solve for that is you'll get a problem, and it will give you the molarity of a base. It'll give you the volume of the base, and it will give you the volume of the acid. And it will say, tell me the molarity of the acid. So let's do a practice problem. First things first, before you do anything at all, write your skeleton out. So I would write out, and I still do this, MAVA divided by MBVB equals moles of acid. Let me just put moles of A over moles of B. Okay, let's look at the problem. Right off the bat, it tells us what we're looking for. It says, what is the molarity of AlOH3? So we want to find the molarity of something. Now, is it going to be the molarity of an acid or the molarity of a base? Is it going to be MB or MA? Well, how do you tell a base from an acid? So right here, we have a really good clue. Bases, for now, are going to have an hydroxide in them. And so we know that this is asking us what is the molarity of a base. So we know we want MB. We don't know what MB is. But we are given MA, VA, and VB. So let's list those out. We want MB. We don't know what MB is. Okay, so let's do this. We don't know MB, question mark. We know some other things. If 37.6 milliliters is required to titrate 43 milliliters of this. So this is one thing, okay? And is this an acid or a base? Well, it's got a hydrogen and a polyatomic ion, so we know that this is sulfuric acid. So this is an acid, this is the base. So what do we know about our acid? Well, we know we have 43.8 milliliters, and we know its molarity is 0.107 moles. And we don't know our molarity of our base, but we do know how much base we have. We know its volume. Okay, so we have our variables. We know what we're solving for. Let's go to our skeleton. And we're going to add in our moles of acid and base. Now, moles of acid and base, this part right here, you are only looking at your reactant side. So totally disregard the products. We don't care about the products. Moles of acid reactants over moles of base reactants, okay? So we have MAVA over MBVB equals. What are our moles of acid? Let me erase this so it's not so messy. So if we look at our balanced equation, and you want to make sure it's balanced, we see that we have 2 moles of our base, and we have 3 moles of our acid. So our moles are this big number right here. All right, well, we can write that up, and I'm just going to stay in black for now, but I hope you can follow. So we have MAVA over MBVB equals our moles of acid, 3 moles, over our moles of base, 2 moles. What's the first thing we want to do? Do you remember? We want to multiply by the reciprocal. So we want to bring this 3 down here and this 2 up here. And I'm going to do that right like this. So we had 3 over 2, so now we want to have 2 over 3. Okay. Now, what do we want to isolate? What variable are we solving for that we're trying to isolate? Oops, sorry guys. We are trying to solve for the molarity of the base. So we want to isolate our MB. That's what we want to get on one side of the equal sign. So the first thing that we're going to do is multiply. We're going to multiply out this bottom equation right here, because we can only multiply out the bottom. We can't multiply this whole thing by the top. You can't do that. You can only multiply out the bottom of a fraction, okay? So we're going to multiply out the bottom of our fraction, which is 3MB VB. And what we do on this side, we have to do on the other side. Remember, we have a 1 here. It's invisible. So we're going to multiply 1 by 3MB VB. All right. I'm going to erase this. So we multiplied that out. Okie dokie. Now, how do we isolate? It's a little messy, sorry guys. How do we isolate MB from here? How do we undo multiplication? We just simply divide out what we don't want on that side of the equal sign. And what we don't want is the 3. We want the MB, but we don't want the VB. Now we cross those out. And what we do on this side of the equal sign, we do on this side. 3VB. Now those are crossed out. And we are left with MB. Now that you have isolated your variable, all you have to do is plug in all of these variables into their variables. I call this plug and chug, and it's my favorite part. So we do 2 times, what's MA? 0.107 molarity times, let's do it like this, our volume, which is 43.8 milliliters. And now we're going to divide that by 3VB. So we have 3 volume of base, 37.6 milliliters. And that's going to equal our MB. Okay, so I didn't get my calculator out. Let me do that real quick. So I'm going to multiply 0.107 times 43.8 by 2, and I get 9.373 divided by 3 times 37.6, which gives me 112.8. I'm going to divide that and get our answer divided by. So I get the molarity of our base to be 0.083. And that's the molarity. And that's how you isolate. And that is how you use basic algebra to solve for a titration. Let me know if you have any other questions. Send me an email and I can make another video, whatever I can do to help.